Hey everyone, welcome back to Very Cold Lasagna, the filthy casual show with all the filthy casual takes on the world of pro wrestling and sports. I am DylanLasagna, and we're here to talk about week 1 of the 2022 NFL season. And yeah, the first week of this brand new season for the NFL is in the books, all wrapped up. All those games that were played on Thursday, Sunday, and Monday in the books. And of course, week 2 is just around the corner, but we'll be talking about that soon later in the week. But we got to talk about week 1. We got to catch up on some stuff. And of course, week 1 always brings out the biggest overreactions in the Twitterverse, Instagram, in the general football community, whatever you use social media nowadays. So let's talk about what happened around the league in this very first week of the NFL in 2022. So we kicked things off on Thursday night last week when the Buffalo Bills went down to SoFi to take on the Rams. Now, the Rams may have raised their banner, their Super Bowl title banner, but it was the Bills that raised some hell in Los Angeles as Josh Allen lit up the scoreboard. Von Miller lit up his old team. The Bills beat the Rams 31-10. Going to the Sunday morning action, the Chicago Bears, yes, the Chicago Bears, of all teams, beat my San Francisco 49ers 19-10. Justin Fields, in the second half, was allowed to throw the damn ball, but Trey Lance wasn't. The Bears took advantage of some stupid 49ers penalties. Yes, the 49ers played some Bears football on Sunday morning in some super soaked weather, and the Bears downed the Niners. The Philadelphia Eagles traveled to Detroit to take on the Lions. That dynamic attack of Jalen Hurts, A.J. Brown, the three-headed running attack of Miles Sanders, Kenneth Gainwell, Boston Scott dominated Detroit. But just like with the 49ers last year, the Lions were not going to lay down. They were not going to sleep. Into the night, they continued to fight and make it just a 3-point game with less than 3 minutes remaining. They had an opportunity to win that game, but the Eagles came up with some clutch first down plays as they held on to beat the Lions 38-35. Maybe we shouldn't sleep on this Detroit Lions team. They still got a long way to go, but maybe we shouldn't sleep on them this year. The New Orleans Saints beat the Atlanta Falcons 27-26. New Orleans rallied from a 16-point deficit on the backs of another Jameis Winston comeback, even though the offense was kind of inconsistent to begin with. But they won this game on the returning legs of Will Lutz and his field goal. And they got a block on the other end against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, in some revenge game, one of the revenge games from the Sunday slate, it didn't go that way for the Carolina Panthers because they had some mistakes early on from Baker Mayfield, but they managed to storm back from a 20-7 fourth quarter deficit to take the lead late. But Browns rookie kicker Cade York, he managed to cap off a great showing, a great day with his leg, with a long game-winning field goal to spoil Baker's revenge game as the Browns, yes, the Cleveland Browns, spoiled the Porty, defeating the Carolina Panthers 26-24. The Pittsburgh Steelers traveled to Cincinnati to take on the Bengals, and they managed to upset the defending AFC champions 23-20 in overtime. They had 4 interceptions over Joe Burrow and blocked a game-winning field goal, forced overtime, and they brought it down to the wire. They really did. And Chris Boswell nailed the game-winning field goal and won a early critical division game. But it did come at a price. They lost their defensive leader, TJ Watt, to a triceps tear. But it has recently been reported that he's not going to miss that much time, just 6 weeks. So they're fortunate that he doesn't need surgery on it. So they're thankful for that. The Baltimore Ravens beat the New York Jets 24-9. Lamar Jackson threw 3 touchdowns in his return to action. The Ravens dominated the Zach Wilson-less Jets. The Washington Commanders hosted the Jacksonville Jaguars. The two sides in this of Carson Wentz in this one nearly commanded its ugly head as he went up against his old coach from Philadelphia, Doug Peterson, who's now coaching the Jaguars. And yeah, what do I mean by the two sides of Carson Wentz? Well, you got the good side, the one that threw for 4 touchdowns, and then you also got the bad side, the one who threw for 2 interceptions that pretty much put the Commanders in the 8-point deficit in the fourth quarter to begin with. But the good side of Carson Wentz rallied the troops together, put 14 unanswered points on impressive touchdowns from Terry McLaurin and the rookie Jahan Dotson, who actually had a good game to begin with. And the Commanders down the Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence 28-22. The Miami Dolphins in South Beach defeated the New England Patriots 20-7. While they didn't do too much in the second half, the Dolphins pretty much didn't need to. They had a balanced performance from both sides of the ball to pound Mac Jones and the Patriots. The Indianapolis Colts and the Houston Texans, man, this game was kind of weird. Both of these teams looked like, as the game ended, both of them looked like they didn't want to win this game. They made too many mistakes, and the Texans blew a 20-3 lead at one point, and the Colts kicker, Rodrigo Blankenship, completely missed a game-winning field goal, and he lost his job eventually. And they played to a 20-all tie. So, yikes. Big yikes. So, we go to the late afternoon slate. The New York Giants made a gutsy call from head coach Brian Daboll. Went for two, and it paid off massively. The Giants rallied back, led late, and got a prayer in the form of a missed Randy Bullock field goal as the New York Giants upset the Tennessee Titans 21-20. Tyreek, nope. Patrick Mahomes and the offense looked just fine without him. Patrick Mahomes found ways to spread the ball around, crush the Dirty Birds in Arizona as the Kansas City Chiefs beat the Arizona Cardinals 44-21. The Minnesota Vikings upset the Green Bay Packers 23-7. Aaron Rodgers out of sync all game in this one with his receivers, not named Devontae Adams because Devontae Adams was on the other side now with the Las Vegas Raiders, while the entirety of the Minnesota Vikings, offense or defense, pretty much had a field day getting to Aaron Rodgers, while also showcasing a potentially dangerous offense that can challenge the pack all season long. The Las Vegas Raiders lost to the LA Chargers 24-19, and this was despite Devontae Adams' big day in his Raiders debut, but Khalil Mack outshined him with his own big day in his Chargers debut by sacking his old buddy and Adams' running mate, Derek Carr, whose play in nut-busting time would amount to pretty much nothing. Absolutely nothing. Then in the Sunday Night Football season opener, the Tampa Bay Bucks defeat the Dallas Cowboys 19-3. It was a defensive slugfest and pretty much a game where who would come in the clutch, but it turned out to be a rout because that slugfest paid dividends for the Bucks, as one touchdown from Tom Brady to Mike Evans would eventually make all the difference for them, and they limited Dak and the boys to just 3 points. And even worse news for Dallas is that they lost Prescott to a hand injury for at least half of the season. Yikes. Then the Monday Night Football season opener that closed out week 1, the Seattle Seahawks. Yes, the Russell Wilson-less Seattle Seahawks, who is coming into town with his new team, the Denver Broncos. They actually managed to beat the Denver Broncos with Russell Wilson, 17-16. You got an actually surprising performance from Geno Smith. Yes, Geno Smith. He had an actually surprising performance. And Russell Wilson had a pretty mad one. And a pretty bad decision from Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett. And Seattle had the upset of the week over Denver. Wow. Just wow. So now, taking a look at the winners and losers of week 1. Starting with the winners, Brian Daboll and the New York Giants. Now, this was despite the mistakes that Danny Pennies was continuing to make. Brian Daboll rallied his team together to come back from a touchdown deficit. But again, that 2-point conversion, rather than go for the tie, force overtime, it was that decision to go for 2, go balls to the walls that made the Giants winners for this week. We'll see how they do next week. Let's see how they do long term in this NFC East, especially now with the Cowboys and where they stand. Patrick Mahomes in the Kansas City Chiefs offense is also another winner this week. Why? Well, while it's only week 1, Mahomes was able to easily spread this ball around to receivers not named Travis Kelce, who also had a good game too. But like I mentioned in their season preview, defenses were going to just go after Travis Kelce. But apparently that's a mistake now because Mahomes was spreading that ball like wildfire, spreading it to Juju Smith-Schuster, Sky Moore, and a bunch of other guys too. So, well, yes, it was against the Cardinals defense that was pretty bad on Sunday. Who knows? Maybe this was a thing, either a preview to come, or maybe it's just an illusion. Let's see how they do against better defenses, but this was a good start for them. The Minnesota Vikings. This team just looks so much more fresh under Kevin O'Connell than it did with Mike Zimmer. Kirk Cousins in this offense makes much more aggressive plays in this up-tempo offense, although I wish the offensive line would provide him a little bit more protection for Kirk Cousins. And the defense, headlined by Danielle Hunter and Harrison Smith on that Sunday, made some big plays. They made a big goal line stand in the second quarter, and they constantly put Aaron Rodgers under duress. And they also got an interception out of him as well. Now they'll be put to the test against an also game Philadelphia Eagles team on Monday night. But for the most part, for now at least, it looks like they can match them. Just as long as we get the right Kirk Cousins on Monday night. Not the one that's been 1 in 8 on Monday Night Football. We'll see. Of course, the biggest loser of the week is head coach of the Denver Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett. I'm like, what the hell? What was the decision? What was the decision to kick a super long field goal over going for it on fourth down when you have he's kind of regressing Super Bowl winning quarterback in Russell Wilson, but it just goes to show you already show some lack of trust in him. You already showing like you can't make that fourth down. Don't give your opposing team a reason that you can't make this fourth down. So this was a terrible, terrible decision, along with the fact that they were already burning so much time to make that decision. So it was just a bad game by Nathaniel Hackett, and also a subpar one by Russell Wilson, who just got cooked. He just got cooked by his old team. Like, it was so baffling. It really was on Monday night again with Seattle and Denver. It really was. The Dallas Cowboys. Now, I mentioned when I previewed this team that this past offseason, with the amount of people that they lost, especially on the offensive line and the receiving core, it's really going to haunt them because the people that the amount of protection that Dak had was really good. The amount of receivers that he had, whether it was Amari Cooper or Cedric Wilson, like tantamount. Especially considering you already had Michael Gallup and CeeDee Lamb already there and Dalton Schultz. Half of it was gone, and you had pretty much had a talent crop of what's this? What is this? And now with the fact that Dak gets hurt, when we were already down by 16 points, and now he's going to be out at least 6 weeks. Yikes. That is a big yikes. And now you're going to be led by a team by Cooper Rush, their backup quarterback. Now, Cooper Rush did okay when they had to be in relief with Dak last year. 2 years ago, whenever Dak got hurt. But man, I don't know how much he can hold the fort, how many wins he can net them until Dak Prescott can come back. But considering that the Eagles, the Commanders, and the Giants all won on Sunday, and who knows, maybe the momentum's on their side or maybe not. The Cowboys' outlook is, not good right now. It is not good right now. And of course, the head coach of my San Francisco 49ers, Kyle Shanahan. What are you doing, like, with your play calling? What is the scheme that you're running? Run. I know the weather was bad in Chicago, but why are you playing Bears football with the Bears football style of play calling mentality on Sunday? Like, look at Matt Eberflus's coaching staff. They managed to let Justin Fields let it rip. Yes, in risky weather, but why couldn't you do the same with Trey Lance? Just saying. Now, I'm going to introduce like a slightly new segment that I did, that I'm doing here, that I didn't do last year, and that's called the Hurry Up Game. And what that pretty much is that I'm going to quickly discuss something like a big topic, a big pressing matter that pretty much dominated the week that was, and that's going to be our ending topic here in our weekly recaps for this season. So this topic to end our week 1 recap of the 2022 season is about how we should not overreact to our teams in week 1. Such is the case with my 49ers, as I think you probably already saw with my weekly recap of my first weekly recap of them for this season. They didn't do so good against the Bears. And you know how I was complaining about them. Oh, they played Bears football on Sunday. And how there was so much. Well, some of it was valid, other wasn't. And I'll admit that. It's still only week 1. And maybe your team did good. Maybe they won. Maybe they looked like the hot shit on the block. We all have to remember, yes, we can feel good in the moment right now. It's only the first of 18 weeks of the season. We still got a long way to go. Still a lot of things to figure out about each and every team in the NFL. So let's not get too ahead of ourselves. We cannot overreact to like anything wild that happens in the NFL. Sure, it makes for good like memes, like highlights, like all the good stuff that you see on social media. But let's not make it like the defining point of any team, your favorite team, any player when it comes to the NFL. So let's just not be too quick to overreact when anything happens in week 1. So that was the hurry up game, and that was my recap of week 1 of the 2022 NFL season. Let me know your thoughts about the first week of this brand new season, and join me soon for my week 2 picks of this upcoming season as well. So stay tuned for that. I'm DylanLasagna of Very Cold Lasagna, signing out, and always keep that lasagna very cold in the fridge with your takes on the world of pro wrestling and sports. And until next time, peace out.